The Witches, which is a remake on the 1998 film and is also a adaptation of the Roald Dahl book. Now, I remember watching the first one like years ago, like flicking through TV and being, oh, what should I watch? And it's like, I'll check out The Witches and see what this is all about. And of course, the mental thing that stars you in your head about that movie is what the Great High Witch looks like. And clearly they went the demon route, because in the context of the witches are not actually witches. They are demons who are in human form, and well, when they take off their human form skin, they look like they from, the devil showed up. So that's essentially what they went for. I won't lie, I kind of prefer the look what they went for with this film. Mainly, I think mainly because it's kind of more creepy and a little bit more terrifying when you have the human body and you know something's not right. Like, your feet, there should be toes there, and you should have a couple of extra fingers, and your mouth's a little bit wide. I mean, it's fine that you're bold. I mean, there's bold women, around, but the mouth, right now you just look like Voldemort with a venom smile. That's basically what you look like. That is terrifying. And if you're worried about kids, and if you know any younger children that might actually like the film, just look at the image of the Great High Witch. And if you think your kid, brothers and sisters, nieces and nephew, grandchildren can handle that, then you can take it. Although there's a scene where like a kid turns into a chicken, where a human face turns into a beak. There's that, but yeah, I that's why I kind of prefer this look. Because it's that weirdness. It's like something shouldn't be there. I couldn't do it. Master Bruce, Miss Carl is taking the jokes and talking again. Couldn't help myself. Anyway, but the really interesting thing about this film is, if you think about it, when you see it, if you go a plane to see it, it's kind of split into like 3 sections. Like, in the first 20 minutes of the film, it's a kind of a interesting thing of like, this is not what I expected it to go. It's a the first act is about a child dealing with grief of the parents, and the grandma trying to lift up the kid's spirit and start singing and dancing and giving cornbread and all that, and to the point she gives up and says, "Hey, I feel bad for you, but I'm not feeling sorry for you. So I am done with your shit and move on. Have some cornbread." What is cornbread? Is this essentially someone made bread into a cake? Is that basically what it is, or is this? I was like, is that just a vanilla cake or banana bread? Because it looked like lemon cake. I won't lie. But anyway. And all this kind of stuff, and then we form into the witches and forming the idea of there are witches around here who hate kids, and all that. It kind of falls. You're kind of like, okay, this is quite interesting. This is not what I'm expecting, and it's kind of interesting. Like the moment the Great High Witch and the witches remove their shoes, and remove your wigs, it turns into terrifying, and definitely even like me, who's like that, my eyes was like intense, and first time I have ever said in like a family film, act like it was a horror movie, where you have this kid, a main character who's like, that's the Great High Witch, and you can't help yourself. It's like, stop commentating. I know. Shut up, or you're not gonna shut up, or you might die. You might die. Something bad might happen to you. You might get turned into a mouse. It could all these things, Just you act like a horror. It's like, don't go in there, don't go in there. It's like, shut up, kid. just for the love of God, shut up. Or tell things what might happen. And then after that, when he gets turned into a mouse, it turns into like a typical fun family film where you have these tropes that happen. Like, you have the whole someone get kicked in the nuts jokes, or it kind of does feel very light and whimsy. It could be the whole thing of like, hey, a kid just saw 15 minutes of a villain monologuing. Who has a mouth of a flippin' snake. It's we might just want to light the whole thing up to the credits, and it kind of in a way you have like 3 different tones. It kind of blends into each other, and it kind of works. It works in a way. Now, do I prefer like the first 40-50 minutes of the film? Yeah, I do, because it's more mature. It's a little bit more, the parents and the adults are like, oh, okay, this is quite not what we were expecting. And then and then the second act is like, yeah, remember, it's a family film, so you gotta have those moments. And now with the performances, you have Stanley Tucci as his manager, who's just a guy who's just getting pushed. He's basically like, oh god, mouse, oh my god, she's being a cat. I had to tell her, and okay, clearly she's not letting me. Basically, in a way, while she's staying, it's her hotel. Okay, that works. You got Attendant Spencer playing the grandma, which is it's Attendant Spencer. So what you expect, fantastic. But clearly, the highlight of the movie is Anne Hathaway. Like, you can tell, like, she's having real fun with this role. You can tell that she's chewing up the scenery every chance she gets in a very good way, and kind of knows the tone of this. And also knows a way to be like, stare them but don't terrify them. Stare the kids but don't terrify the kids. And it is a real, I mean, she does like in a way some Gollum impression type thing with, I can't do it. I can't do it on the spot. But if you've seen the movie, you know what I mean. But it's if you want to know the highlight, she's the highlight. You want to see the movie, just see the movie because of her. Her performance and all that kind of stuff. I think it's the first time she has played like a true villain. So, yeah, this is it's a fine film. It's a fine film to check out, and a fine film, I think, for those let's say those stareless kids.